Hello, once again. My name's Dave Brown. I'm with Christians for Common Sense. It's a video series of explaining a little bit about Christian beliefs about what is going on in America today and why, and also to help you to prepare for what may or may not happen. And I think it will happen, which is we're going to have to survive, I guess. I was trying to, level it down a little bit, but honestly, we're going to have to learn how to survive. We may have to be like the Bolensky brothers when the Germans took over Poland and how they saved over 1,500 people by, surviving in the woods for approximately 3 or 4 years, hiding from the Germans and trying to find food. And what they did is that the only way that they could feed that many people was by soups. So I've been a firm believer of when you start making your plan for storage food, that you plan on making types of large containers of soup. The reason I'm not in on my porch, it is snowing, raining, and it's colder than heck out there on the porch from where we are today. So, as promised, I thought we'd talk about how to filter water. Now, we talked about how to store water a little bit with my large tank. So if you haven't seen that one, go back and look at how to store water on a 2,500 gallon tank by using the rain runoff from your gutters. And I explained how to do that. It's a real simple process. Some states are liberal enough to where they said, okay, you can't have them. But before you just listen to somebody else say, well, that's against the law, check it out. Because a lot of times all they're asking you for is to register where the tank is located so they can compute some sort of mathematical whatever, how much water is actually hitting the ground. And then the other part of it is, if you have a storage tank, and it is illegal in some states, and you find that out, have it anyway. Have all the pieces and parts to this 2,500 gallon tank. And when the stuff hits the fan, you can immediately stick it underneath your eaves and begin collecting rainwater for your survival. So right now on this tape, we're going to talk about filtration, how to filter water, Now, I'm not real good at putting together these videotapes. There are some pictures that I was going to try to put onto the videotape, and if they do show, hallelujah, but if they don't, it's a very simple thing. You dig a hole next to a creek, and the water runs through the soil and collects into this little hole that you dug about 3 feet away from the creek or the pond, whatever. And these are great. It will filter the sediment and some of the material from the water. But as far as real filtration system, they're not the greatest, but in a survival situation and you're trying to get rid of the muddy water, it's a good idea. Another idea that we have that I've used, I used to take troubled youth out for approximately a week, and all we had was a pocket knife and a sack full of flour. And I would take them out, show them how to do deadfalls and snares, how to start fires, and things of that nature. So it's really handy, but these techniques are okay in a survival situation. They're not the best. You can buy these commercial straws and so forth that are so much better. It's so much easier to just stick them in your backpack and away you go. But one of the ideas that we used out on survival was to build an A-frame, just a regular A-frame, and then in between the A-frame in levels, we would attach our t-shirts, our shirt, our Levi's, whatever material we have, and tie it in between the tripod. And so it starts out little, gets a little bigger, and a little bigger. Now, how that works is that you pour water into the top piece, which is, in a sense, to filter out the rocks and debris and so forth and so on. And then the next level is with straw or gravel, and the next level you might have crushed coal, so you're filtering your system through that. That's not bad, but however, the coal does add, sometimes you just can't get enough of it out, so you need another spot to filter out the coal. So you have a different layers. So those are just some survival techniques for filtering water. And so I want to show you one that we've built and put together, which is a very simple construction. It's a large container, you see it right here. And what we use is this type of a bolt. And this is called a bulkhead bolt. So what it is you have a bolt on one end and you attach it, if I can get the doggone thing unscrewed, it looks like that. It has a hole through it. So it goes through the wall, and then on the inside you attach your bolt very tightly, and thus it seals it, but you still have a hole. Okay, and you have threads on one end and threads on the other end. So you have two different types of threads. And how that generally works is that you have a bucket, you put a hole in the middle of the bucket, and then on the inside, you can see that, you have a filter. Now this is the basic filter for the first part of the water. And then it goes through the filter, through the bulkhead bolt, to another filter. This is a finer filter. This has charcoal in it. Okay? So the water you pour into this filters down through and through this filter, which then is connected to another bucket. And in the bucket you have a pour spout. Just a very simple pour spout. And this will give you much cleaner water. Now, are they perfect? No, it's not like you're going to find something out of one of these $300-400 filtration systems. But for a large container of water that you buy a stream, now this is a home model, so you're not necessarily going to put this in your backpack and carry it off. I guess, if you had a car or something like that, this little unit would work really well. So that's basically the components. You have a spout on that end. This one here, you attach two filters, and you can buy those filters in any hardware store. The bulkhead screw that you're looking for, you'll have to go to a pretty sophisticated plumbing store. And then I have a couple of them so that I can build, two more of these. So the idea is that if this is not exactly clean enough for you, then build another one. And then use the spout from this bucket to run into your second bucket and filter it again. So basically, this is just a home model for a survival situation. I don't know that I'd use this year round, although you could, but I have a filtration system on my house water already and don't need it. But if you're in a survival situation and you have rain runoff, or you have a bucket, or you have a stream that you can grab a bucket of water, and from here you can scoop up the water, stick it in here as it drips through, and filter your water. That's just a real basic style of filtration system. Now, I cover many of my subjects that I have on video in my book. You can buy this book on Amazon. It's not expensive. You can get it on an ebook if you really want to penny pinch it. You have to go to Amazon. You have to type in my full name and then scan all the other books. For some reason, David E. Brown is a lot of books out there. And this goes through, goes through all types of different things. It's over 150 pages of what to store, how to store it, how to do basic survival skills, how to chip arrowheads, how to make fire. And my next video is how to make fire, and go through the different types of fire starting mechanisms that you can buy commercially, which is the different matches, but some techniques that I've learned over the years that you're not going to find in any book or in any little survival manual or something like that. And that is the use of mullein. And you can find mullein plant just about on any little backwoods road anywhere in the United States. It's a very popular plant. It's an herb if you want to use it as an herb. The Indians, it could be used as a wipe or a diaper. You can dry it, and it's smoked for asthma, just a number of different things. It's a mullein plant. We'll use the stem on how to make fire with this stem and how quickly you can have a fire started, and how I use it and have used it over so many years of my taking kids out on survival treks. I'd also like you to take a look at my other book. This is 250 pages about the Revolutionary War and how God gave America to be free. And we go through each battle and show some of the unknown aspects of that battle that you're not going to find in a normal history book. What I did is that when I was homeschooling my kids on the ranch, as you know, we lived on 20 acres in the middle of nowhere. We lived off the grid for over 8 years. So I had to teach my kids, homeschool them. And I looked for books all over and couldn't find anything. So I finally went down to numerous libraries and ordered and read the actual journals of the Revolutionary War veterans and put together this book on how God gave America to be free. So I encourage you, please join up with my videos, tell other people about what we're doing here, and I do have a website and called Common, so it's just Common Sense, and you'll have to look for my name as well for my Facebook page. But I would dearly love to hear from you. You want to make some comments, I'll try to get back with you, and that takes the point for this issue. And thank you again. I'm sorry I'm not very professional, and I'm having struggles with putting these videos together, so please bear with me. I don't know if they'll ever get better. I'm just an old hillbilly. But thanks again for watching. That would be Common Sense, right? So thank you. Bye.